The stage lights were blinding, but she didn't see them. She stood still at the center of the talent show stage, gripping the microphone with trembling hands. The audience was silent, unsure what to expect from a thin, blind teenage girl wearing a simple dress and worn shoes. "My name is Lily," she said softly, "and I'm here to sing so I can see again." A murmur spread through the crowd. Lily had been blind since she was 6 years old. A rare condition had slowly taken her sight, and doctors said surgery could save it, but only if it was done soon. The cost was impossible for her. Her mother worked 2 jobs, still barely able to afford rent. This talent show was her last hope. What Lily didn't know, what no one told her, was that one of the judges sitting behind the long table, the stern man in the navy blue suit, was staring at her with a face slowly turning pale. His name was Richard Hale, a billionaire, a respected businessman, and a man who had walked away from a young woman 18 years ago, without ever knowing she was pregnant. Richard leaned forward, his heart pounding. There was something about Lily's voice even before she sang. Something familiar, something that clawed at his chest. The host smiled nervously. "Whenever you're ready." Lily closed her eyes, not because she was blind, but because she was afraid. Afraid this would fail like everything else. Afraid this would be her last chance slipping away. She began to sing. The first note cracked. Then the second note steadied, and then silence turned into shock. Her voice was raw, emotional, and painfully honest. Every lyric sounded like a prayer. People in the audience stopped breathing. A woman in the front row wiped tears from her eyes. Richard's hands began to shake, because the song Lily was singing was the same song her mother used to sing years ago. The same melody, the same phrasing, the same pain. Richard whispered to himself, barely audible. "No, that's not possible." As Lily reached the chorus, tears streamed down her face. She wasn't singing to win, she was singing to survive. And for the first time in years, Richard Hale felt something he thought he had buried forever. Guilt. When the song ended, the room exploded into applause. People stood, some were crying openly, but Richard didn't clap. He just stared at Lily as a terrible question formed in his mind. What if she's mine? And if she was, then the surgery she needed wasn't the only truth waiting to be revealed. The stage lights felt warmer than Lena expected. She stood alone at the center, gripping the microphone with both hands, her white cane resting beside her feet. The audience was quiet, too quiet. She couldn't see their faces, but she could feel their judgment. A blind girl on a big talent show wasn't something they saw every day. "Name?" the host asked gently. "Lena," she replied. Her voice was soft but steady. "And why are you here tonight, Lena?" She took a deep breath. "To sing and to save my sight." A murmur spread across the hall. One of the judges leaned forward. "What do you mean?" "My surgery costs more money than my family could ever afford," Lena said. "This show is my only chance." The crowd fell silent again, this time heavier, emotional. Behind the judges' table, a man sat frozen. Judge Marcus Hale, a powerful music producer, a billionaire known for being brutally honest and emotionally distant. He didn't move, he didn't speak. Because the moment Lena talked, something inside him cracked. Her voice, that voice. It brushed against an old memory he had buried years ago. Nights filled with lullabies, a woman singing softly in a tiny apartment, and a baby girl resting against his chest. He clenched his jaw. "No," he whispered to himself. "Impossible," the host smiled at Lena. "Whenever you're ready." Lena nodded. She tilted her head slightly, listening to the pianist begin. The first note rang out, and then she sang, not loudly, not perfectly, but with pain, with hope, with a kind of honesty that didn't ask for permission. Every word carried a story, of darkness, of fear, of dreaming about colors she'd never seen. The audience slowly leaned forward. Some wiped their eyes. Even the camera operators forgot to move. Marcus felt his hands tremble. Her tone and the way she breathed between verses, it was the same. The same as the woman he once loved. The same as the daughter he was told had never existed. The song ended. For a heartbeat, there was nothing. Then the room exploded into applause. Lena smiled, blinking back tears. She bowed slightly, unsure where to look. The host turned to the judges. "Marcus, your thoughts?" All eyes moved to him. Marcus swallowed hard. For the first time in years, the billionaire had no rehearsed response. No sharp critique, no arrogance. Instead, he asked a question that stunned everyone. "Lena, who is your mother?" The audience gasped. Lena hesitated. "Her name was Anna," she said softly. "She passed away when I was 10. Marcus's heart stopped. Anna. The name echoed like thunder in his chest. He stood up slowly, ignoring the cameras, the audience, the rules of the show. And for the first time, he looked at the blind girl on stage not as a contestant, but as a possibility. The auditorium went silent as the blind girl finished her song. For a brief moment, no one clapped. Not because the performance was bad, but because no one in the room knew how to breathe. The judges sat frozen behind the long table. One of them slowly wiped his eyes. Another stared down at her application form as if seeing it for the first time. The audience, moments ago distracted and whispering, now leaned forward completely still. And then there was judge number 3. He hadn't clapped, he hadn't spoken. He hadn't even moved. His nameplate read Daniel Carter, a respected music producer, a millionaire, a man known for being brutally honest on talent shows. But right now, Daniel's hands were trembling, because the song she had just sung wasn't random. It was his song, a lullaby he used to sing years ago, to a little girl whose face he had tried to forget. The host broke the silence. "Judges, what did you think?" The first judge cleared her throat. "That was extraordinary. I don't think anyone expected that level of emotion." The second judge nodded. "Your voice doesn't just sing, it tells a story." The crowd erupted into applause. Still, Daniel said nothing. The host noticed. "Daniel, you've been quiet." Daniel looked up slowly. For the first time, the blind girl turned her head toward his voice. Explaining softly, she said, "I can't see you, sir, but I can hear you." That sentence hit him harder than the song. Daniel leaned closer to the microphone. "What's your name?" "Lily," she answered. "Lily Moore." His chest tightened. Moore, the same last name as her mother. The woman who had disappeared from his life without a goodbye. Daniel swallowed. "Why did you choose that song?" Lily smiled faintly. "My mom used to sing it to me when I was little. She said it was written by someone very special, someone who loved her once." The audience murmured. Daniel felt like the floor had vanished beneath him. He remembered writing that lullaby at 19. He remembered singing it to a woman named Emma Moore. He remembered walking away when success came too fast and responsibility felt too heavy. He had never known she was pregnant. Daniel forced himself to breathe. "Lily, what are you hoping to win tonight?" She stood a little straighter. "The prize money. I need surgery. The doctors say there's a chance I could see, but my mom and I can't afford it." The room fell silent again. Daniel looked away from her for a moment, his jaw clenched. Then he looked back. "Lily," he said, his voice softer now. "Who is your mother?" Lily hesitated. Emma Moore. She passed away 2 years ago. Something inside Daniel broke. The host cleared his throat awkwardly. Judges, should we move to voting? Daniel raised his hand. No, he said. The entire room froze. There's something I need to say first. Lily turned fully toward his voice. Daniel stood up. And in that moment, the blind girl, without knowing it, was standing only a few feet away from the man who had changed her life before she was even born. The hall was completely silent as the last note faded into the air. No applause came at first. Not because the song wasn't good, but because no one knew how to breathe again. The blind girl stood still at the center of the stage, her hands trembling slightly as she waited. She couldn't see the faces staring at her. She couldn't see the tears. She could only hear her own heartbeat pounding in her ears. Then slowly someone stood up. It was Judge Miller, the same man who had sat stiffly throughout the performance. The same man who had avoided looking directly at her. The same man who, seconds ago, had been fighting a war inside his chest. He took one step forward, then another. The microphone shook in his hand as he lifted it. My name is Daniel Miller, he said, his voice breaking. And I was not prepared for what I just heard. The audience leaned in. This young girl came here to sing for a chance to pay for surgery she desperately needs, he continued. But what she doesn't know is that she just sang the same lullaby my wife used to sing to our daughter. A murmur swept through the crowd. The girl's breath caught. Sir, what did you say? Daniel swallowed hard. 20 years ago, he said, I walked away from a woman I loved because I was afraid. Afraid of responsibility. Afraid of a child I wasn't ready for. She left town. I never saw her again. Tears streamed down his face now. But I never forgot that song. And I never forgot her voice. He stepped closer to the stage. When you sang, he said softly, I didn't hear a contestant. I heard my past calling me back. The girl shook her head in disbelief. My mother, her name was Anna, she whispered. She used to sing that song when I was scared of the dark. Daniel's knees nearly gave out. That was her name, he said. The room erupted, but the girl heard nothing, only silence. Only her own breath as the truth settled into her bones. You're saying, her voice cracked, you're my... Yes, Daniel said, stepping onto the stage. I'm your father. The host wiped his eyes. The judges stood frozen. Audience members openly cried. Daniel took her hands gently. I didn't know about you, he said. But I know now, and I'm not leaving again. The girl collapsed into his arms, sobbing. Minutes later, Daniel turned back to the audience. This competition was meant to give someone a chance, he said. But tonight it gave me my daughter. He looked down at her. Her surgery will be paid in full, he announced. Not as charity, not as a prize, but because she is family. The hall exploded with applause. Weeks later, the surgery was a success. The first thing she saw when the bandages were removed was a man holding her hand, tears in his eyes. Hi, he whispered, I'm right here. And this time he meant it.